All right, it's time for banner review. I know some of you guys have questions about this ship. I've been seeing it all week. It's finally time to get down to business and talk about it. Right, so Effulgence before Eclipse, 5 ships available. Let's get this started. So the first ship we have right here is going to be Unzen. Right, the ship girl, the premier girl, the banner girl, whatever you want to call her. Heavy cruiser, ultra rare rarity. Drawn by Kinkora. I should have expected. I think he drew like 2 URs this year, so yeah. Voice actor. I'm pretty sure they showed a voice actor on the stream, but it's not here. Pretty good voice actor though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if she's a unique one or whatever, but pretty good. Anyways, let's talk about the stats. At 120, we have 4,683 health, 295 firepower, 297 on torpedo, 0 aviation, 226 on anti-air, 190 on reload, 76 on the evasion, medium armor, 24 speed. I'm not used to this icon yet. 142 on the hit, 70 luck, and 14 on the oil cost. So if you guys can already tell, she has an extremely low health pool compared to most heavy cruisers in this game. If you guys don't already know, we go to ship types of list or whatever, or let's see, judged by stats. We go to heavy cruisers. We press health at 120, sorry. There is a long list of heavy cruisers before she's like there. I think she's like, in terms of ultra rare, we have a lot of decisive and ultra rare up here, right? But when we come down here though, she's like all the way down here. Like she has less health than Indianapolis, an elite ship. Like, yeah, just that low. So her health is absolutely insanely low. Everything else though for stat wise is pretty good. But for that abnormal like amounts of health, it's not something you want to take for a heavy cruiser by all means. But there's still more to her kit though. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Gun efficiency is 140 for the heavy cruiser gun. This is the highest, I believe. I think Drake and the others are like chilling over here at in Hindenburg are like 130 or something. So Hindenburg is 130. Drake is also 130. Heavy cruiser guns for Unzen 140, so that's very, very good. Torpedoes 150. I also believe those are the highest ones available from the URs. So yeah. And 130 on the anti-air. I think across the board, she just beats out Drake straight up in terms of like efficiency. Yeah, she does. Too funny, too funny. But she loses health though, so it's kind of whatever. Now, firepower at +1 when we get to 120. Very, very nice. And for the limit break, she gets some very nice things right here. So she gets some crazy torpedo efficiency, torpedo base +1, preload torpedoes +1. This right here is a unique one right here. Torpedo charges reload simultaneously. Again, I need like people to like verify what this means. But I think what it basically means is you get 2 torpedoes on spawn. I tested her out a bit. I saw what she can do, but again, I think this is basically you just get 2 torpedoes on. I like it though. I like it, even though like I'm not exactly sure what it does. I'm pretty sure I like it because I see a lot of torpedoes in combat, so I'm assuming something like that. Now it comes to her skills. She has 2 skills. Very, very weird here. I think she does need to get a third one, but it is what it is. We have 2 skills and all-out assault. Exorcism for the Mortal Realm. Increase this firepower. This ship's firepower, torpedo stats, and evasion by 20%. Every 20 seconds fires a special barrage that makes it so enemies deal 10% less damage to Unzen. So it's a perma uptime. You do it, you hit it, and then they do less damage the whole fight for Unzen in particular. So I mean, wave clearing is not too like do like, well, because enemies are gonna die or sink before they can actually like do significant damage. Then, but for bossing though, if you are gonna take her, 10% damage reduction though is pretty nice. So it's not gonna be specific amounts, but he's essentially working with like say a plus 400 HP or something when it comes to bossing. Not the worst, but I think they should just give her a higher health pool to begin with. Though that's just me. While this ship is afloat, when a fleet this ship is not in battle with, so basically another fleet. 20 seconds after the battle starts, fires a barrage, and if there's any heavy cruisers in that fleet, increase their HE ammunition damage by 7%. So it's gonna be a nice buff for Hindenburg. That's gonna be a nice buff for Drake. It's basically gonna be a nice buff for any heavy cruisers that you guys are gonna be using. So already, if you guys are using heavy cruisers, it's gonna be a good ship regardless. So that's gonna be something to look out for. Well, I'm gonna butcher this word. Coalescence of Cloud Shade and Etherlight. Man, that's these skill names, man. I swear, it's like, what are they trying to even sound like at this point? Increase this ship's torpedo crit rate by 50% and her crit damage by 75%. Very, very nice right there. Although I think it should be overall, but torpedo damage is fine. I would have liked some gun damage though, but it is what it is. Torpedo-based ship, so can't really go wrong with some more damage. When the battle starts, when the ship finishes loading her torpedoes, increase the ship's speed by 5 for 8 seconds, and deploys a shield that lasts 8 seconds and negates up to 6 enemy shells. Does not stack and only resets if you reload torpedoes again. Right, so this skill right here, the crit is very, very nice. Don't get me wrong, it's very, very nice. More damage on torpedoes. So more crit means you kind of want to run something similar to like reload because you want to get more value out of it. So not bad. 50% is kind of a gamble, but that basically means you got to bring Noshiro now to get the 12% value out of the crit rate. So yeah. But damage though for torpedoes, not bad, not bad. Basically a better Ibuki at this point. Now, what I really don't like about her skill is the next part. Increase speed for 5 seconds, or increase speed by 5 for 8 seconds. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this, right? When you guys are running Unzen, you're basically going to run Noshiro. Noshiro is a light cruiser. She's not too heavy. You're basically going to get a lot of speed out of it. Now, if you guys are going to run like a fleet that I made yesterday to make it so Unzen is going to be doing a lot of damage, you're going to be running Avara. Now, you have 2 light cruisers and a heavy cruiser. Speed is kind of okay, not too great, but it's kind of whatever. But having the speed here is not that bad. Now, if you're going to run her in a full IJN setup, which you guys are probably going to because you want to get value out of those torpedoes, then speed here is kind of whatever. Because if you guys are running Unzen and Noshiro buffs torpedo damage and crit rate, you're going to need another destroyer buffer in here, or another torpedo buffer in here. And as of right now, IJN doesn't have one that works for Unzen, so you got to run a DD because you want to get value out of Noshiro. So when you have value out of Noshiro, you want running a DD. DDs are fast. The speed here is kind of negligible. Like, getting 5 speed from Unzen basically doesn't do anything. Like, what's the point of this? Like, if you're going to add speed, you basically might as well add some more defensive buff because Unzen is very, very squishy. So the speed here is debatable. It's questionable. It's basically useless to me when I see this skill because if I want to build a comp around Unzen, I'm going to be running a lot of fast ships. What's the point of having 5 speed? So this right here is basically useless. And you're only looking at the shield that she gets and the crit rate that she gets and crit damage from this skill. So it's kind of like, what's the point of this? I feel like Unzen's kit is basically just an amped up like elite ship. Like, you will see this on an elite ship and just like amp it up. And that's basically Unzen right here. With that being said though, she's definitely not the worst ship in the game. There's plenty of worse ships out there. For an elite ship, is she underwhelming? It depends on what you look at nowadays when it comes to kits. I believe nowadays when people look at a good or bad ship, they just think of boss content because, oh, well, that makes sense because when you look at how the end game day-to-day life of a Azur Lane player consists of, it's like arbiters, not arbiters, meta 15s, OS, some farming as well too, PvP. He basically doesn't see much value out of that. Like, she really, really doesn't. It's a very squishy ship. In terms of core lineup, she doesn't really fit anywhere. In terms of meta setups, carriers definitely no because it's already tight as is. And battleship setups, if she were to replace someone, she's going to be in the front position tanking because you're not benching Helena or Plymouth. And she's a very, very squishy ship. Like, yeah, she does a lot of damage, but she's very, very squishy. She's probably going to go down like in the first 40 seconds of a fight because she's just that squishy. Like, she doesn't have the health pool. Some of her damage reduction is nice, don't get me wrong. Evasion is 20%. But her kit wasn't built for tanking, meaning nowadays, core slots are basically filled up, and she has to go in that one spot that a lot of ships doesn't want to go into, which is the main front position of the Vanguard. And you're going to take most of the heavy fire there, so that's why tanks are best, or having a buffer that doesn't rely on being alive there is also best. She doesn't do any of that. She doesn't tank, she doesn't buffer fleets. She's basically just there to do damage. So that's why I think a lot of people don't like Unzen's, because she isn't a really good bossing ship if you guys are playing manual or playing auto. On manual, probably, but I think a lot of ships nowadays can be very, very good if you play on manual, but not again. Manual is probably like 0.1% of the time when you're playing a game, whereas auto is like 99.9% of the time. So Unzen kind of falls off right there. But where she isn't good at, she's good in other places. She is a very, very good wave clearing mob ship. Now, I've said this many, many times. There are many, many good mobbing ships in the game. But if you guys saw in the last video I made about the showcase, she is an absolute monster when it comes to wave clearing. Definitely, definitely a very, very good ship. Now, I know that fleet I made was very amped up towards making Unzen looking very good. Avra, Noshiro, Ki, all good ships that making Unzen look very, very good. But she really is a good wave clearing ship. I think if you can keep her alive, she's definitely a really good ship to bring into like Operation Siren, even Chapter 14. There's a lot of good ships you can, or there's a lot of endgame plays that you can bring Unzen to have her be very, very relevant. Just not bossing because it's hard to make her work. So, personally for me, I can definitely see her being useful in Chapter 15. Maybe a little bit of 13 hard, but anti-air is really important there, so kind of whatever. But 15 now, I can definitely see her being used there. And Operation Siren, I can definitely see her being used there a lot as well too. So not much to say about this ship. Offensive wise, she's very, very good. Probably up there when it comes to damage, along with Hindenburg. Better than Drake by all means. But her biggest drawback is that she is a heavy cruiser, meaning she's not nearly as tanky as a large cruiser out there, and especially Anchorage, who is the tankiest heavy cruiser as of right now. And her health pool is absolutely abysmal. I feel like they could have gave her 1,000 more HP, and she would be a lot better than this right here, but they didn't. So a very, very low health pool. Survivability, not the greatest. But wave clearing, though, an absolute monster when it comes to that department. So definitely would run her in terms of OS fleets. You don't have to build a fleet around her for IJN. But if you want to get value out of her kit, you're going to have to bring some ships that can buff her, like Noshiro and even Avra. So yeah, keep that in mind. Right, so the next ship we have right here is going to be Hatsuzuki. So if you guys don't already know, Hatsuzuki is the third Akizuki class sister ship that is a SSR, I believe. Very, very good ship. At 120, we have 25, 38 health, 85 firepower, 390 torpedo, 0 aviation, 193 on the anti-air, 218 on the reload, 225 on the evasion, light armor, 39 speed, 201 on the hit, 43 luck, 212 on ASW, and 10 on the oil cost. So just like her many, many sisters out there that are SSR, she is similar stats to them across the board. So we go here. Let me close these real quick. We go to Suzuki and Wakatsuki. Very, very similar stats compared to her sisters. Very, very similar. So by default, already a good ship because those ships are also very, very good. Now, when we go to gun efficiency, same thing as her sisters. 110, 135, and 140 for DD guns, torpedoes, and anti-air across the board. So very, very similar. Nothing changes right here. If I were to press this right here, all the same. All right. +1 firepower at 120. Let's look at her skills. When the battle starts, for each IJN Empire ship in your fleet, increase the ship's firepower and reload by 5%, can stack up to 3 times. Increase the ship's crit rate by 10% and evasion by 5%. And every 15 seconds fires a special barrage. So there's crit rate here, there's evasion here. If you guys want to bring Noshiro along with Unzen, you can definitely do that. Get some more value out of that crit with some more damage. Very, very nice for that department. Very offensive oriented buff right here. So I can't really say much else about this ship. I just like it a lot when it comes to just wave clearing stuff. Like Suzuki used for so long, Wakatsuki is also not bad either. So Hatsuzuki, probably same thing right here. Second skill, as leaves fall, East takes flight. That's a like a nursery rhyme or something, or fortune cookie skill right here. I swear, these words, man, these words. Same as this one. As evening weaves, the moon sunders. Increase the ship's evasion by 10% and decrease your damage taken by cruisers by 15%. While the ship is afloat, decrease all your other ship's damage taken by 5%. Very nice. Once per battle. When this ship falls below 35%, as a result of damage taken, recovers 10% of her max HP. So just like her sisters, a little bit of a zombie skill. The all damage reduction by 5% is also very nice as well too. A little bit of evasion, a little bit of durability. Solid. And her all-out assault. So again, I don't have much to say about this ship. She's just like her sister Suzuki and Wakatsuki, which I think are very, very good DD ships. So another one to the bag right here. Very solid. Good for event farming. Good for just chapter 14. Anywhere that involves this cheap farming or like a wave clearing DDs or whatever. Very good ship to bring there. Now, Owari. Owari is a SSR battleship. Stats at 120 will consist of 8,476 health, 421 torpedo, 283 on torpedoes right here. Very interesting for battleship. I think she's a key class, that's why. 0 aviation, 363 or 68, sorry, on the anti-air, 145 on the reload, 39 on the evasion, heavy armor, 229 speed, 71 hit, 41 luck, 0 ASW, and 15 on the oil cost. So across the board, very normal stats minus the torpedoes because she is a key class. But across the board though, very, very normal stats. Now gun efficiency, also very normal. 140 on BB guns, 200 on CL guns, and 100% on the anti-air. Also very normal. Now 120 +2 firepower, absolutely amazing from this ship by all means. If you guys don't like her for whatever reason, still gonna level her up because that +2 firepower is very, very nice. Now her skills, power of friendship. Oh man, anime time, here we come. When the battle starts, and every 20 seconds, gives a random other ship in your fleet the best buds trait. While a ship with the best buds trait is afloat, Owari's firepower, accuracy, and reload are increased by 20%. When a ship with best bud sinks or the trait expires, Owari fires a torpedo barrage, and traits she gains, or the ship that gains the best buds next will get additional buffs based on the recipient's position or whatever. So again, they word it weird, but when I was reading the dynamites, basically she gives a buff randomly. Depending on the position of that buff, I don't know if they indicate in game or whatever, but depending on who gets the buff, you get certain things. If it's in your backline that RNG gets the buff, you get a 15% anti-air and a 10% damage reduction. So this one is like the worst one. Like this is anti-air damage reduction is like the worst. I think you only get value out of this if you're doing like a 1-1 setup, but again, not the best setup nowadays. And even then, you don't really need this. It's overkill. But who you really want this on is the Vanguard because you get firepower and torpedo increase by 15%. Very good for Unzen. Very, very good for a lot of ships. Have a 60% chance to roll this because in a full fleet, there are 3 Vanguards and 2 other main fleets. So you have a 3 and 5 chance to roll Vanguard, and you better hope you roll Vanguard because you get value out of this shit. Oh, excuse me. So RNG skill, not my favorite, but in terms of buffs though, very nice. When this ship fires her main gun, 75% chance to fire a special barrage. When the special barrage fires, increase your key class battleships damage dealt by 10% for 10 seconds. If you're so basically Saruga and Key. If your flagship meets any of the following criteria, this barrage activation chance increased by 25%, up to 100%. If you have a Sakura Empire ship, if she is or your flagship, if she's an IJN ship, if she's a battleship, battlecruiser, or aviation battleship, or if she receives the best buds trait at least once during the battle. So any of those, and you get 100% chance to just proc it. So if you want to do it as her flagship, you can definitely do that, but there are better options out there to have her as flagship. So you kind of want to avoid that. But I think if you run like if you run Owari, you're pretty much running another battleship. So that this criteria probably be the easiest one for you to fill out. So yeah. Overall though, not a bad kit. 100% barrage, some good buffs. I like it a lot. The only issue is that it's RNG. So not a big fan of RNG skills, especially the last event as well too. I don't like this RNG stuff, but hey, some people like RNG buffs for whatever reason. By all means, go for it. I'm not a fan of RNG buffs, so yeah. And Asanagi and Natori, I really don't want to talk much about these ships, but I think Asanagi has like a really good kit I want to talk about. So we're not gonna talk about her skills in general. For the most part, it's kind of average, kind of low on torpedo base, but it is what it is. But reload on DDs though is kind of nice. This skill right here though, all reliable. Every 20 seconds for 10 seconds, increases ship's firepower, increases a ship's evasion, torpedo, and anti-air by 50%, and decrease your Vanguard's damage taken by 10%. At first, I thought this was overall, because when I first read this, I thought I was like, wow, every ship gets torpedo, anti-air, evasion, and damage reduction. That's actually really good. But it was just that. So, I will say this: I'm not a big fan of like every 20 seconds because by the time this actually goes off, the fight already ends for mob battles. So it's kind of like, yeah, not a big fan. But it is what it is, though. She gets a stop as well too. Kind of whatever. And as for Natori, not Natori, yeah. I don't think she gets anything crazy here. She gets a barrier, additional support damage, decrease your light cruise damage taken by 12%. This banner has a lot of damage reduction by all means. So if you guys are a big fan of that kind of stuff, by all means go for it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of damage reduction because here's the thing. It's better to have higher health than have damage reduction because some skills in this game like repair toolkit gets 1% max HP every 15 seconds. So you get more value out of that HP regen versus just damage reduction, which is just permanent damage. So that's why I like HP regen more and a higher health pool because you get more value out of like repair tool. So damage reduction, not a big fan. Anyway, so that goes over all the ships I want to talk about. Let's talk about their rankings. So Unzen, as always, because she's the UR and frontmost ship right here. Not a bad ship. A lot of people did dislike her at first because she didn't have much going for her kit. A lot of damage, not much durability, doesn't offer much to the team or whatever. So if you guys are looking from a bossing perspective, not the best ship for that. but she is a very, very good wave clearing ship. I can definitely see her being useful in Operator Siren. I'm personally going to use her in Operator Siren from now on because absolutely ridiculous wave clear. Chapter 15 also is coming out in the future. I can definitely see her being useful there. I'm going to do that as well. Chapter 14, if you guys are going through 14 as well, if you guys need damage and you guys don't need like a big tank, also very, very good ship here. So even though I don't see her being much useful in like meta fights or arbiters unless you're playing on manual, but again, a lot of us don't play manual, so yeah, she's going to be useful in much of the upcoming content to come in the future. Operation Siren updates, chapter 15, even chapter 13 hard mode, I can definitely see her being useful there as well too. So something to look forward to. Definitely not a bad ship. A lot of damage. It's just she's lacking in the defensive department, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Hatsuzuki, again, very good ship. I don't have much to say about her. A solid DD just like her sisters. Wave clearing, event farming, any of that kind of stuff. Chapter 14, a very good ship to bring there. Owari, I like her kit, but I don't like the RNG. Otherwise, though, very solid ship, and regardless, she gives a +2 firepower at 120 for permastats. She's a good ship regardless in that department as well, too. And then Asanagi and Natori. Not a big fan of the elite ships this time around. They have like kind of whatever kits, but that's just elites in general. If you guys want to level them up, go for it. Otherwise, though, you can ignore them if you want to. But grab skins if you guys are into that kind of stuff, like honeys and stuff, right? So, the big takeaway from this banner, the important ones. As always, even though some of you guys may not like her kit, you guys may not like her design, you may not like her UR like status or whatever, Unzen is definitely a must-have for this banner. She's a very, very good ship for damage. Not a good ship for sustaining, but for damage and absolute monstrous value of a ship. If you guys see Hindenburg being a good ship, then Unzen is not any different. She may have lower health, but her damage is absolutely ridiculous as well too. So definitely a good ship. Don't miss out on her. A very important pickup. Also right here, Owari is also a important pickup. I say this because even though she's RNG, she gives +2 permanent firepower to battleships. Battleships are a big key component to fleets nowadays. If you guys are into like Musashi or Bismarck 2 setups, +2 permanent firepower is very important. So another big pickup right here. And then if you guys want, Hatsuzuki is nice to have. Again, she's a farmable ship from D3 and B3 in the shop, so you don't have to gotcha for her. Definitely a good pickup there. Good for wave clearing and events, like I said before. And again, if you guys like these ships, Asanagi and Natori are elite ships. Not the best ones, but if you guys like them, go ahead and grab them as well too. So that's it for the event banner. Again, not like a 50-minute discussion this time around because I don't have much to talk about Unzen's kit. There's just 2 skills. Not a bad banner. Some nice stuff in here. I know some people are really disappointed in Unzen, but I can tell you right now, she's a very good ship. Just not in the department that a lot of people care about, which is bossing. In the 15s, Arbiter fights, she's not the best ship there, but she's still a very, very good ship in other departments. Okay. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned next one, and I'll see you guys next time.